Okay, this is round 2 of starting to record a series that I am naming Raising Chetna. Da-da-da-dum. What is this? Why is this? In super short, um, let's think of it as an autobiography of me and my life. And why do I feel that I should do an autobiography? I love to share. I live an experimentative life, and I love to share the learnings that I get from my life with others in the hopes that it helps them, in the hopes that it allows you to see your life in a new, expanded way. And if anything that you hear from me inspires you to make your life even a little bit, tiny bit better, I will feel that the purpose of my life is getting achieved in some way. I have rarely in my life had big desires, big goals, big ambitions, and I have heard all my life, my God, you're so intelligent. My God, you're so smart. Why don't you want to become the CEO? Why don't you want to do this? I've never wanted to do anything. The only thing that has ever felt aligned and right within me is if A, my time on earth can be magical and joyful and beautiful, and B, with the life that I get to live, if I can have an impact on the world. And I recently found out that there is something called human design codes, that my human design codes are 3 and 5, which mean experimenting and having an impact in the world. So that totally aligns and checks out. So here's a series called Raising Chetna. I am going to post it every week, that is today, today is Friday, I believe. So every Friday, we're going to launch one episode. Okay, I'm going to turn this over, and this is, I believe, a 20 or 25 minute clock. So you will try and keep the episode for 20 and 25 minutes. And let's see what comes out. If it's an autobiography, is it going to be chronological? No, it's not going to be. We live in the world of AI, and eventually, if I want to turn it into a book and into a chronological book, AI will do the job for us. And if so it's not going to be chronological. It's I am a coach. That's the work that I do, and you will know and hear more about it. I help you live an awesome life, in short. I'm myself going through, I call myself a global transformation coach because I work with people all over the world, and through our work, we transform lives. But this is not about that. But having said that, disclaimer, I am a coach, so I have a tendency to teach as I share. And teaching is how I learn. So I am actually generally self-teaching, but I don't know how that will translate into language. So this is going to be very raw. I'm going to post this very unedited because I want to make sure that I'm putting out content more than trying to fine-tune the details of it. So I keep thinking, let's begin, but we have begun. Where do we begin then? Well, maybe what's coming to me is why raising Chetna. And initially, I had thought of it as becoming Chetna. So why not becoming Chetna? So a few years ago, maybe about 2.5, 3 years ago, and like I said, this is going to be very raw. 2.5, 3 years ago, I adopted myself from my parents, not legally, but through a meditation that I came up with. And there were many reasons to it, and maybe we will find out, maybe those will or will not be relevant as we progress. And but I went through a deep process of energetically and internally and then holistically and completely adopting myself from my parents, whereby I then therefore became a sovereign unit where I am my own mother, my own father, and my own child, and my own family, and everything. And through that process, I learned about all that I can be, but I'm not. Or let's put it differently. Let's say I learned about all that I have the potential to be, and all of the thwarted potential that exists in me in a thwarted state, in a suppressed state. And as I work with my clients, I see that that's all of us. We are born perfect. We are born, and when we are really young, we are given the names that we are given. So I was given Chetna. And but as Chetna grows, or as would insert your name grows up, it is almost impossible, unless you're a bubble boy. If you've listened to, I mean, if you watch Seinfeld, then you know what I'm talking about. But it is very difficult to not be influenced by our surrounding. And I don't believe that we're meant to not be influenced by our surrounding. So as Chetna was growing up, she was deeply, Chetna that was born perfect, like all kids are, she was deeply influenced by her surroundings. And that's why when I took charge, when my being took charge of this Chetna, and my being is, I believe, like all of our beings, is very kind, very giving, very forgiving, very supportive. Uh, it raised me like a baby, and it put me through a lot of difficulties. And last year has been definitely the toughest experienced year of my life. And by that, I wouldn't mean to say that uh, it was the year when challenges just came down on me. Yes, it was. What I mean by that is that it was the year where I finally opened up enough to allow those challenges to come to me. And as they came to me, and with all the learnings of the last many years, I've been blessed to be able to dedicate my life to this experiment that is now in some way exists as the work that I do, which is not in some way totally exists as the work that I do, which is thisislife.xyz. Um, I have been blessed to be able to give it a lot of my time. So internally, I think of it as having done a PhD in life, and it never ends, right? You keep researching, you keep studying, you keep getting to know yourself more and more and more. And as you dig deep in one direction of knowing yourself, and uh, seeing how this one mind works, and how this one mind body complex works, and how this one mind body complex with its being works, then now you know how every mind body complex works, and how and what every being wants, because we're all essentially fundamentally the same. We all want the same things. Our expressions might be unique. So yeah, so that's why raising Chetna, because over the last 2 3 years, I was literally charged with the job of raising Chetna, and it's not over, and it's never going to be over. Um, you were never done. So I don't want it to ever be over, because then what's the joy of life? But wow, it has been a journey, and it has not been easy. It has not, but it has been wonderful. It has been exciting, and well, it has been tremendously hard, but I would have it no other way, to be honest, now, because the last year has been like a crash course in life for me. And I was already a coach for a few years at the point of last year. So, anyway, what else can I say? I like, right now I'm really drawing a blank, and my mind is coming up and saying, what are you even going to do a series about raising Chetna when you don't even know what you're going to say now? And that gives me something to say now, which is, through my work, I have realized, and I'm going to share whatever comes up as it comes up. Learnings, teachings, chronological events, experiences, all of it is going to be in this. Think of it as a khichdi. Um, so some jokes, because I think this character Chetna is very witty. So I have seen that our minds, desire perfection, or at least the way I had created my mind, it desired perfection, which would mean that it would only want to begin something when it already knew the outcome of it, when it knew all of the steps of it. And life doesn't work that way. There is two ways of interacting with life. One is a very safe way of interacting, which is the way in which I find most of us interacting with life, in a way in which I used to interact with life a lot also. A very safe way. When I know where I'm going, will I even say yes to stepping out of the house? When I know um, the whole of the plan for the trip, will I start to pack my bags? When I know what I'm studying, why I'm studying it, uh, what are the potential salaries I can get out of it, will I do something about it, right? Most of us want to live in that safety. And even if you look at Maslow's hierarchy, you know that safety is like the base. And safety is important to all of us as human beings, because it's what makes us feel okay. It's what takes away the strain of things. But that's one way of interacting with life, and that's always going to have limited returns. And the other way of interacting with life is really trusting life, is saying that, if a calling is really coming through me and it is bursting forth from me, it's worth it. It's worth it for what? It's worth it to try it out, even at the cost of looking like an idiot, even at the cost of it not gaining me anything fully in life, even at the cost of um, it not having immediate acceptance in the world out there, even at the cost of me being uncomfortable about it, even at the cost of um, having to take charge, having to take responsibility to change, to transform, even at the cost of letting go of some people that have been inherent in your life, even at the cost of letting go of versions of yourself that have gotten you here. So these are two ways that I have seen about interacting with life. Way number one is safe, secure. One way to think about it could be, I used to study accounts in this lifetime, but in one of the versions of this lifetime, and we had these low risk, low return investments that you would have, and then you would have high risk, high return investments. So the first way is low risk, low return, very good. But there's always going to be a tinge of dissatisfaction in you, because you are expansive, because I'm expansive, I know you're expansive. You are infinite. So I don't know how you are truly going to find satisfaction living in a small box just because that box makes you feel safe. Safety is good. Don't drive alone too late in the night in a risky area. Don't take up a fight with somebody who you know you're not going to win against, because physically they are much more bigger and have more vital energy when it comes to brute force than you. Yes, safety like that is great and important, but safety, because I cannot imagine being my full expanded self. It's never going to bring you satisfaction. You will keep looking for the next thing. You will keep looking for the next desire. You will keep needing the next thing to come in. And I have desires. Oh, finally in life I have desires. I have never had desires, and I have a burning desire in my life right now like I have never had before. And it feels exciting and it feels thrilling. But it is not about safety. It is about expansion. It is about what more can I be? How more and how much more deeply can I experience life? How much can I receive and give? How beautiful can this transaction with life be? And don't think of transaction as a negative word. Okay, let's use the word exchange. How beautiful can the exchange with life be? Because it's all one energy. And some part of that energy has said, okay, I'm going to stand out and I'm going to observe the rest of it. What does that feel like? How can we make it grand? How can we make it beautiful? How can how can I make it grand? How can I make it beautiful? So the other way of living life, the high risk, seemingly high risk, and definitely high return way, is actually my way. That's why I say that I have experimented with my life a lot. I would hope that this, what I hope is going to be a series, that you will listen to the series rather than just this one episode, because um, I know that you will get a sense of what I'm saying and you will connect with it immediately. If you are already here, you will be connecting with it, because I'm not speaking riffraff. I'm not speaking from books that I've read. I'm speaking from life experiences that I've had. I know what I'm talking about. So I know that frequency is going to hit something real in you. But uh, what I find is, when we look at something in slivers, we only get, like, if the doctor says you need vitamin D and sit out in the sun, you're not going to just put your arm out in the sun, you're going to put your whole body out in the sun. So likewise, if you are going to be with me on this journey, you will really see a holistic picture. I will try to make it as fun and entertaining, but I am me, so whatever I am is going to show up. And I am not not a consistent idea, and neither are you. But I'm speaking of me, right? A human being is a human being because we are constantly evolving. We're dynamic, we're shifting, we learn something, we drop something, we eat something, we meet new people, we interact with a variety of energy across our time on earth and each day, and we're influenced by something, and we're open in a certain area today and we're open in another new area tomorrow. And our field as in our mind field, is vast and small and expanded and contracted at different times. So I is not a constant idea. Chetna, is not a constant idea, and I in general is also not a constant idea. Therefore, what the series is also going to be cannot be a constant idea. But right now, not right now, we're going to call it Raising Chetna, and we're going to see what comes up. By the way, Chetna also means consciousness, and I feel really blessed to have that name. What else can I say at this point? Because we have about half of this gone, which is pretty cool. I live with 4 cats and my long-term partner, Pius, and I have spent a few years of my life isolated, just starting a little before COVID, and through COVID, I spent a lot of time meditating. I have a memory of coming from a traumatic childhood. Life was not easy as a kid. So, as a kid, you experience life very differently. You don't necessarily experience life exactly as life is happening, because you're protected by a lot of forces, including the people that are causing trauma in your life, because they're not doing it on purpose. It is happening by the very way of being that they know to be. So, but kids absorb energy like sponges would absorb water. You can't protect a sponge from water. You can't protect a kid from absorbing the energy around. So, raised through a lot of trauma, raised through a lot of what the child Chetna experienced as injustice, not necessarily towards her, but towards the people around her. Raised in a kind of violent household, not a peaceful household, not an ideal household for a kid in any which way. You wouldn't want to send your kid to that school, let's say. But still received love, still received everything basic that was needed for survival and a certain form of growth. I wouldn't be here without the people that were a part of my early life. So, as a kid, I did not necessarily experience everything as that bad, because as a kid, you believe that the world that you know is how all of world is. And when you don't know any better, you don't judge it in the same way as you do once you're out of it. And it's not necessarily judgment, it's you don't have this knowing, right? When you don't have a sense of the big picture, you don't have a knowing. But kids are so energetically tuned, right? So you don't know that it can be better, but you sort of have a knowing that it can be better. You, from the depths of you comes a desire where you're like, okay, why can't it be more peaceful? Or at least that's what happened for me. Instead of getting sucked into the energy of unrest that was all around me, I always sort of kept a distance from it. So as a very young kid, I kept a distance from it by being really nice and taking care of the people around me. As I grew up, I was in pain. As I was a teenager, I was rebellious against it. And around the age of 22, I left my house. Like, could not really put words to it, but I basically just left my house and I said, I'm going to figure out my life on my own. And so I guess that experience needed this being, in order to become whole, to take some time out in her life to just rest. And that rest did not mean that I was sleeping all the time. It meant that I was going deeper and deeper and deeper within. And through that meditation process, through working on myself, through doing inner work, what is called shadow work, I realized a lot of truths. And it was a very strong calling in me since I was a kid. I remember having certain thoughts, and this doesn't feel like the right point to share those thoughts, but I remember being born into the desire of wanting to know more and more truth about life, or about who we are and what this is, and how to, now at this stage in my life, I look at it as a game. So, how to play this game well, and how to enjoy playing this game, and many various aspects. Like I remember, so just one example of how transformation works. I am a transformation coach, and you cannot be something till you are really applied in your life. So if I sit down and tell my clients and talk to them and take them through transformations, know that I have gone through thousands of them, which is why I believe that I'm capable of sitting there and doing the work that I do. So one of the major transformations that comes to my mind is right now about being a very competitive child. And maybe that wasn't necessarily my original trait, but um, children want to please their parents, because that's where love is coming from. So they don't want to get into trouble with their parents. So if the parent needs you to be competitive, you're going to be competitive. Yeah, the series is going to be raw. So if the parent is sitting in, like, thinking of, oh, how much marks did that other friend of yours get, or how it is really important that you are always acing, not because, there is one way that you can ace because you have the potential, and oh, you did not do it this time, let's see where we can help you. And another is like a manic energy about it, that if you don't do it, then what, there is a problem, because oh, this is going to fall, um, because maybe they have not found certain fulfillments in their own life, and they now want to find that fulfillment through you. Again, you have to learn to be kind to these people, because you have to learn to be kind to yourself. They did the best that they knew to do with the resources that were available to them, right? Even in that is an energy of protection and in an energy of love, but it's very toxic. So growing up, I became very competitive in nature, because maybe somewhere being competitive became a survival mode for me. Like, if I'm not competitive, survival is going to be hard for me. So and I have now transformed into a person who is inspired by others, who wants others to do really well, but their doing well or not doing well in life has nothing, no bearing on me. So this is one example of transformation. um, a lot of you go to offices and have jobs, a lot of you are in school, a lot of you are senior citizens but are sitting at home and comparing the cars and the daughter-in-laws and the bank balances and the pension packages. And I'm sorry, like I said, this is going to be raw, with your neighbors and your family members. It doesn't work. That's not going to bring you fulfillment. I've had the ability and the good fortune to see that at a young age. So competition is not going to help. Inspiration is going to help tons, right? Looking at what is the beauty in another. Why is it that that other does something so beautifully while I can't do it? Or what is it that I can learn from this other, and bring into my own life, that would make it more beautiful, that would help me play this game of life better. uh, that's very helpful. One thing that I have a desire to start sharing with my clients, and is about being able to really understand that there is one aspect of life which is in balance, one way of living which is in balance, and that way will be very unique to each individual. But there is one strain of life which goes in balance, and there is a mirror or an opposite strain of that which doesn't go in balance, but it is very toxic. As in, not but, it because it is out of balance, it is very toxic. um, what is a good example of it? There is one situation where you have a car and all of your four tires are well taken care of and well oiled, and uh, you're taking care of your car and you're taking care of how you're driving, and that's and you're putting air into your tires regularly, you're checking for punctures. So that's the balanced way of life and driving this car called life. And the other imbalanced could be that I am in a manic hurry to get somewhere because everybody else around me is doing that, and I haven't taken a moment to really see that, oh, my tires are not right, and my health is not right, and my car is not in a good shape, and oh, there aren't enough petrol pumps on the way. But I'm in a manic, by hook or by crook, energy of getting there. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. I'm going to take care, not really take care of these tires, but I'm going to use them as tools that I don't care for, but that are just supposed to serve my manic needs. So I'm going to patch them up however. I'm going to steal a tire from a car here and a car there. I am going to, if I don't find petrol, I'm going to put low quality petrol in my car. I'm not going to really take care of the machinery. I don't care about my health as far as I get there, right? Like, I can do patch up work. If I'm not resting well, I can put makeup on so that you think that I don't have puffy under eyes. I don't know if I have puffy under eyes, but I definitely have no makeup on, at this moment and at most moments. So what I'm trying to say is that there's one healthy way of doing something, there is one healthy way of living the life that is given to you, and there is a toxic way of living life that has been given to you. That has been something that I have observed in my experience, and that has been the biggest transformation. Understanding this key, this has been key to every transformation, and it hasn't come overnight. It's taken its own time, but it's okay, because you've taken turns in the opposite direction, so you got to take all of those turns back to get back to neutral, and then restart taking these turns in these positive direction. And what do I mean by negative positive? What do I mean by each of these terms? What are the other more solid stories from my life. All of this will come up. Um, I am not going to try to be super. This is not a course. This is a journey that I'm sharing for those that are interested in hearing about my journey. So, yeah, almost done. And bye bye.